Bill Gates is a renowned investor and entrepreneur. In this video, we're going to be looking into the main stocks that Bill Gates has in his own stock investment portfolio. But before we get into the video, let's learn a little bit more about Mr. Bill Gates. He was born back in 1955 in Seattle, and in fact, that's where he grew up in Seattle, Washington. In 1975, Bill Gates and Paul Allen started the company Microsoft, and 1 year later, they renamed it to one word, Microsoft. From there onwards, the business continued to grow. Windows products were offered, and they kind of dominated the markets. Bill and his partner Melinda were very much into philanthropy, and in fact, they've been involved in so many different philanthropic initiatives. They started their Bill and Melinda Foundation back in the year 2000. On top of that, Bill himself has had multiple areas of interest, including the environment and climate change. And most noticeably, in 2021, Bill published his book, How to Avoid a Climate Disaster, proposing a plan to prevent the worst effects of climate change. And according to Gates Notes, which is a blog dedicated to Mr. Bill Gates, this is a message that has been shared there. I feel very lucky to get to connect with so many extraordinary people. Whenever I have the chance, I set aside a few minutes to share what I'm learning here on the Gates Notes. Thanks for reading. With that out of the way, we're going to be taking a look at the portfolio of Mr. Bill Gates. This portfolio is mainly managed by Michael Larson since 1994. And we are going to be taking a look at the 11 major stocks in this portfolio, consisting of some really high quality, reputable, dividend paying stocks here. Let's take a look and walk you through what these stocks are, what their dividend yield currently is, and how long they've been paying dividends, and whether they are considered to be undervalued or overvalued at this time. All right, the first pick here for us is a company called FedEx. It's a reputable industrials business involved in the transportation of parcels with ticker symbol FDX. It is currently appearing to be undervalued with a dividend yield of 2.96%, close to that 3% dividend. Its dividend is safe with a dividend safety score of 64. If you look at the last dividend growth for FedEx, they last increased their dividend back in June of 2022, and they increased it by a massive 53%, which is a very fast dividend growth. FedEx has been paying its dividend uninterrupted for the past 20 years, and in the last 2 years of those, they've increased it year after year. FedEx does pay its dividend quarterly. Next pick here is Ecolab, the ticker symbol ECL. It's a materials business with a dividend yield of 1.37%. Ecolab has a dividend safety score of 98, making it a very safe dividend payer. Last that Ecolab increased its dividend goes back to the December of 2021. And at that time, they increased it by 6.3%. That is considered an average dividend growth. It's worthwhile mentioning that Ecolab, the ticker symbol ECL, has been paying its dividend uninterrupted for the past 30 years. And in all of those years, they've increased it year after year. Ecolab does pay its dividends on a quarterly basis. Next pick is a real estate business with ticker symbol CCL. It's called Crown Castle. Crown Castle has a dividend yield of 4.27%. And as you notice from this graph, it's been one of the highest level of its dividend over the past 5 years. Crown Castle has a dividend safety score of 61, making it a safe dividend payer. They last increased their dividend back in October of 2021 by 11%. Crown Castle has been paying its dividends for the past 7 years, and in all of those years, they've increased it year after year. Crown Castle does pay its dividends on a quarterly basis as well, similar to all the other picks that we've reviewed so far. Next pick here is UPS, United Parcel Services, a business in industrials, very much similar to the business of FedEx that was also on this list. UPS is considered to be undervalued as well and has a dividend yield of 3.67%. UPS has a dividend safety score of 69, making it a safe dividend payer, and it last increased its dividend back in February of 2021 by 49%. UPS does pay its dividend quarterly and has been paying its dividend for the past 23 years. Of those years, the last 12 years, they have been increasing their dividend year after year. Next, we have another industrial business. It's Canadian National Railway. It's a Canadian business, but it's also available in US dollars. The ticker symbol CNI, considered to be undervalued with a dividend yield of 2.03%. and a very safe dividend safety of 97 score. Canadian National Railway last increased its dividend back in January of 2022 by 19%, which was a very fast dividend growth. Canadian National Railways does pay its dividend quarterly and has been paying and increasing its dividend uninterrupted for the past 25 years straight. Next, we have another industrials business. It looks like Mr. Bill Gates is a big fan of industrials type of businesses. We've seen quite a few of them here so far. And this one is no other than Caterpillar, the ticker symbol CAT. Caterpillar has a dividend yield of 2.68% and is considered to be undervalued. Caterpillar has a dividend safety score of 93, making it a very safe dividend paying business. Caterpillar last increased its dividend back in June of 2022 by 8.1%, which was a fast dividend growth at the time. They have been paying their dividend uninterrupted for the past 29 years, and in the last 28 years of those, they have increased their dividend year after year. Next, we have a very repeatable business, Coca-Cola FEMSA. This is different from Coca-Cola, and it is actually available with ticker symbol KOF. A consumer staples business with a dividend yield of 4.17% and a dividend safety score of 60. This safety score for Coca-Cola FEMSA is considered to be a borderline safety. As for their dividend growth, they last increased it back in the year of 2020 to 21, given that they do pay the dividend on a semi-annual basis. It was increased by 8%. Coca-Cola FEMSA has been paying its dividend uninterrupted for the past 18 years, and in the last 4 years, they've increased it year after year. Microsoft, no surprise, Mr. Gates is also invested in its own company with ticker symbol MSFT. Microsoft has a dividend yield of 1.10, which is not bad, although it's a arguably low dividend yield. Keep in mind that as an information technology business, it is not typically common for you to get very high dividends, because many of the information technology businesses tend to use their earnings to reinvest it into their own business to rapidly grow. It is nice that still this information technology business is paying you some dividends, and its dividends considered to be very safe with a safety score of 99. Microsoft last increased its dividend recently back in September of 2022 by 9.7%. Microsoft has been paying its dividend uninterrupted for the past 16 years, and in the last 12 years, they've increased it year after year. Walmart is another pick here. It's a consumer staples business with ticker symbol WMT. It does have a dividend yield of 1.70 and dividend safety score of 90, which is a very safe dividend score. Walmart last increased its dividend back in February of 2022 by 1.8%, which was considered to be a very slow dividend growth at the time. But they are almost at the verge of becoming a dividend king stocks, having paid their dividend and increased their dividend year after year for the past 48 years. Waste Management with ticker symbol WM is the next company on this list, the 10th list, on the 10th stock on this list, and it's available with ticker symbol WM. It could be considered overvalued, but it does have a dividend yield of 1.63%. They last increased their dividend back in December of 2021 by 13% and have been paying their dividend uninterrupted for the past 22 years. Waste Management has increased its dividend year after year in the past 18 years. Lastly, we have Deere and Company with ticker symbol DE, another industrials business, which could be considered overvalued and has a dividend yield of 1.27%. Deere and Company has a dividend safety score of 83, which is a very safe dividend score, and has last increased its dividend back in May of 2022 by 7.6%. Deere and Company has a very long history of paying their dividend uninterrupted, in fact, to past 28 years, but they don't have the longest history of dividend growth. In fact, they've only increased their dividend for the past 1 year. Deere and Company does pay its dividend on a quarterly basis. Well, there you have it, folks. A quick look into Mr. Bill Gates' main portfolio of stocks, mainly the stocks that are on top of that list from a lens of a dividend-paying, high-quality stocks that they have in that portfolio. I hope you found this video beneficial and gained something of value from it. And hopefully it gave you some ideas of what some of the most renowned investors in the world have their money invested in. As you notice, many of the picks on this list are not necessarily some of those startup companies, and many of them, in fact, most of them are some of those blue chips businesses that have been around for the longest and have a long history of paying their dividends, long history of being around and maintaining their business and offering their quality services to the clients. As always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button and of course subscribe to our channel. Here on Moementum Finance, we post every week several videos about investing, including investing in dividend stocks, growth stocks, penny stocks. We also talk about investing in real estate and crypto, as well as ways to reach financial freedom. Thank you so much. My name is Mo, and I hope to see you all next time.